Hello there and welcome back to Friendonkey Wrestling Season 2. Your eyes do not deceive you. That monstrosity staring into your soul is the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. He has been captured. We gave the Ghostbusters a ring. And he will be in the main event this evening as we feel the fallout from the Elimination Chamber, which, if I don't say so myself, was a phenomenal pay-per-view. Upheld by both the women and the men on FDW. Imperium coming up short, but they were in there with the legendary tag team of the Dudleys, and who's going to argue with the Dudleys? Speaking of Imperium, they will also be in action this evening as there's still some fallout with them. But as we look ahead, we're starting with an absolute banger. These two put on an absolute showcase in the Elimination Chamber. CM Punk and LA Knight, two standout performances. Going one-on-one. We've seen them go head-to-head already this season, but this time there is added stakes. Winner gets a TV championship match, but before we can get started, speaking of former TV champions and TV champions, Seth Rollins just marching his way down to ringside, staring daggers into CM Punk. He's not forgotten about that beatdown after Punk's victory en route to qualifying for the Chamber. Perhaps Punk needs to keep his head on a swivel, as Seth clearly just looking to make his presence felt as Knight watches on. There's the bell and we're off to a flying start already, maintaining the momentum from the Elimination Chamber. Breakout performance of that match has got to go to LA Knight. But he came up short, unfortunately, as he was eliminated by Punk. But seeing as these two made it to the final three, granted them a shot at the TV Championship, and LA Knight's looking to keep that momentum on his side, continuing where he left off. Every other time these two have met, Punk has been the victor. Will Knight be able to be, or will tonight be able to be anything different for LA Knight? A lot of Knights in that sentence. Yeah, there's all the words, you've figured them out yourself. Punk now with a strong grip on LA Knight. Main event this evening will be an absolute monster match, as the Fiend will be going one-on-one with Bronson Reed, and it was Bronson that asked for that match, and who are we in management to argue with Bronson Reed? What Bronson wants, Bronson gets. But fair play to the Fiend, of all the people you could ambush, he picks Bronson Reed. Also ambushed Axiom as well after a fantastic lucha match in the Go Home show. But the Fiend seems to have been completely unleashed here on FDW. Knight now in control. Bouncing Punk off the top turnbuckle there. This should be a back and forth affair as he goes low and rolls through into the Boston Crab, and that is some veteran wrestling there from LA Knight. Punk able though to roll through and power out as they continue teeing off on each other. Number one contendership on the line for the TV Championship. But Seth Rollins clearly not done with CM Punk. I mean, attacking Punk. Just complete bloodlust there. The ref calls for the DQ, so Punk wins this match via technicality, but the fans, LA Knight, CM Punk not happy with this result. Neither is Rollins. Perhaps Rollins feels like he's owed a championship rematch. And Rollins is feeling that he's also been screwed over by CM Punk, and that Seth Rollins should be standing there, the FDW World Champion, as he geared himself up for weeks and weeks and weeks to fight Drew McIntyre. He's not forgotten how CM Punk overshadowed him with his Money in the Bank cash-in. Now neither man has anything to their credit, no accolades to show off to the crowd, other than their own legacy. And as far as legacies go here on FDW, you've got to say Seth Rollins is the stronger. longest reigning TV champion, former FDW champion, Royal Rumble winner. CM Punk, Money in the Bank winner, still yet to claim that first bit of gold. But a brawl between these two here. Rollins feeding off the crowd, locking in a sleeper. As Punk reverses it into a stunner. Speed trigger knee from Rollins. He goes up top, just throwing everything he can at Punk. Seth off the back of 2 losses, which is incredibly rare for Seth Rollins. First losing to Bronson Reed, then to Punk. Perhaps feeling a little left out. He is the forefather, the founding father of FDW. As he hits the schoolboy kick across the chest. These two clearly not done with each other. As Punk now drags Seth to his feet, gets him into the fireman's carry and hits the go to sleep, busting Seth open in the process. But he's still not done. Talk about a bloodlust. Dragging him away from the ropes. I think Punk thinks this is a wrestling match, but this is not official. Punk attacked by Seth as Punk rolls through into a sharpshooter. Something you don't see every day. Seth able to kick out. This brawl still going hell for leather, and we may need to call security in here or they will be going all night long. Punk heads to the top rope. Flying elbow just levelling Seth Rollins, who heads outside the ring looking to escape. Perhaps Seth bit off more than he can chew. Suplex though is sure to put that rumour to bed. Seth Rollins tees up CM Punk for a curb stomp. And meanwhile on Monday Night Raw, Sami Zayn has won the World Heavyweight Championship. Good to know. That also means that Braun Strowman must vacate the Universal, the Undisputed Championship. So, guess that's up for grabs at a later date. Now, I mentioned Imperium at the start of this episode. They've got some things to figure out among themselves. Gunther has challenged Kaiser and Vinci to a 1-on-2 handicap match. I don't know what's going through Gunther's head. Perhaps looking to cling to any signs of former dignity.
The following contest is a handicap match.
He's beaten them before, but not in tag action, and that is where Kaiser and Vinci are at their strongest, at their most dangerous. In singles, they're a force to be reckoned with. But as a tag team, they're nigh on unstoppable. Gunther, perhaps with the rose-tinted goggles on, thinking about how he was once nigh on unstoppable, but this season just squandered every opportunity he's had at World Championship. Multiple shots at the TV champion. Ousted by Ilya Dragunov, formerly the work experience boy, now the leader of Imperium. Gunther stands alone. Now this should be interesting. If Gunther can manage to defeat these two in tag action here this evening, I think Kaiser and Vinci will have to have some discussions with themselves, but it doesn't look good for Gunther, not gonna lie, given his current run of form. Unable to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, unable to defeat Seth Rollins. Just every big match he's had hasn't gone his way. But now, in an effort to almost remind Ludwig Kaiser who the true Ring General is, just grabs him by the throat and punishes him. But Kaiser, not having any of it, perhaps feeling for too long that he has been living in Gunther's shadow, it's a chance for him to prove that he can become more than just a foot soldier. Vinci too has also been an absolute standout here on Friendonkey Gaming. Immediately Gunther grabs Vinci and puts him down, just rubbing his nose in it like a misbehaving dog. Vinci able to kick out though. Again, Gunther asked for this match. It's been approved. He didn't need backup. He was in Johnny Gargano's corner in the Go Home show. Gargano unable to convert his #1 contendership into a cruiserweight title reign, but Vinci looking to get the pinfall over Gunther, which would be huge. Gunther having fallen to Ilya Dragunov. Will he fall to other former comrades? Sidewalk slam from Gunther there. Running senton there from the Ring General to Ilya Dragunov, to Ludwig Kaiser, as he continually tees off on Kaiser. Gunther now in control of Ludwig Kaiser, bouncing him off the ropes. As he raises his arms high, Kaiser capitalizes on it, and that's that hubris going to his head just when he thinks he's in control. That's when Kaiser will snap. That's when he'll catch you off guard. Giovanni Vinci watches on as the former leader of Imperium is knocked down a peg or 17. Kaiser dragging him down to the mat, battering Gunther. The weakest we've seen Gunther perhaps ever. Without backup, without purpose, no championship to defend, no hopes of championship in sight as Vinci, the subtle athleticism on display once again, going off the top rope, springboard flying crossbody, just levelling Gunther on the outside. He stomps the boot in and forces it in for good measure. Would Imperium take a count-out victory here? They have done so on so many occasions against their own former leader. Gunther back to the ring. Vinci, flying drop kick after having whipped Gunther off the ropes. Hooks the leg, can it be 3? Only a 1 count on Gunther as Kaiser watches on, ready to come to the aid of Vinci at a moment's notice should Gunther pick up any momentum. And there's the tag. And this is unprecedented. Never have we seen really a superstar fall so heavily from grace as we have with the likes of Gunther. Locking up again with Kaiser, who rolls through, twists the boot on the forehead of the Ring General. And if this continues, that moniker may no longer be his to claim, as he's busted open by Ludwig Kaiser off the top turnbuckle. Just a brutal beatdown. Vinci just soulless stare looking on, almost happy perhaps. Kaiser locks in the figure 4. If Gunther taps here, we have never seen a tap out on Friendonkey Wrestling. If Gunther is the first, that would be a shocker. But Gunther able to roll through, able to reverse as he gets Kaiser up. With a sidewalk slam. Looks for a pinfall attempt, but Gunther alone against two of the finest foot soldiers a general could ask for. Two men working as one. Gunther will need to be one man working as two. Count of three now. As Kaiser just flicks Gunther away, almost dismissing him from duty. Gets him up into the fireman's carry. Air raid crash on the outside. Count of 7 now. And is this going to be Imperium taking yet another count out victory? Count of 8. Big suplex to Gunther. Kaiser needs to get back between the ropes, and he does. And that is all she wrote. Gunther wanted the match. I don't think Imperium were even bothered about picking up the pinfall. Happy to take another count-out victory. Happy to just put the beat down on Gunther. As the implosion of Imperium continues. Well, from one scene to another, the women's division once again going through a bit of a facelift. As making her way to the ring, you can see it round her waist, your new FDW Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton, who had an outstanding performance at the Elimination Chamber, I must say. One of the highlights all year of the women's division. That match was tip-top. For a moment it looked like Liv Morgan was going to do it, hitting the Oblivion on Henley, but Stratton capitalised, threw Morgan out of the way and hit the pin on Henley, pinning the champion in the process, capitalising on the triple threat rules. She saw her moment and she took it, and she's in singles action tonight against none other than the founding mother of FDW, Tegan Bloody Knox. Not seen her in some time, but still looking to get her way back up the card, and what better way to do so than to take on the champion.
And from the Welsh Valleys, Tegan.
She's feeling good for this match. There's a chance for Stratton to prove that it wasn't just a fluke. I feel like a victory over Tegan Knox is enough for any woman to prove that she is worth her salt here on FDW. But immediately, we've seen this from Stratton before, going for that inverse arm stretch, just wearing them down, and this is smart. She almost knows, she must know that Tegan Knox can deliver that chokeslam emulating her out of pain. But Knox, having none of it, immediately back in control, reminding Tiffany Stratton who she is. Wrenching at the leg now, removing that vertical base. Smart by Knox. Tackling the legs. If you can take that away from Stratton, it removes half of her power, half of her athleticism. Stratton with some great mat-based wrestling. Locking in the armbar as Knox powers out. Twist toe hold now, flipping through. Spine buster from Tegan Knox, and she goes for a pinfall early. Though thinking about a count. Perhaps still zoomed off his tits as he's been at his stash. Knox just with some quick feet to Stratton. Quick strikes reminding her that she's there. Here comes Stratton, back in control. Reverse DDT. Which I suppose would be a TDD. A Tiffany death drop. You watch that be what it's actually called. I really should know the moves of these wrestlers by now, but you don't come here for the wrestling precision. You come here for the bounce and the good time on FDW. And to see just what's going to happen. A Stratton wrenching on Nox's arm, lifting her off the mat. That was brutal, and we've seen this from Tiffany Stratton recently. Developing a new edge, as it were. She hits a Samoan drop and puts Nox down. She heads to the top rope and just keeps up the assault. A huge swanton from the princess herself, who I suppose is the queen as she sits atop the division. Forearm as she tees Tegan Nox up for a corkscrew senton there and hooks the leg. Can it be free? Short work of Tegan Nox in a very dominant display there from Tiffany Stratton, and that's a big confirmation, being able to overcome Tegan Nox. And oh, we haven't seen her for some time, but we have not forgotten. It looks like it's confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. Kairi Sane wants that FDW Women's Championship. Looks like that's the Mania match. At least for now. There are still many episodes to go before we get to Mania. Tiffany Stratton with multiple targets on her back. The biggest of which coming from Kairi Sane. But your main event for this evening, a very, very different affair. Perhaps the most monstrous match we've ever seen here on FDW. We've seen him ambush people all season long. We've seen him become more and more deranged, starting off the season as a tag champion, splitting from Karrion Kross. And now, what? That's the FDW Championship. As he carries the head of the Fiend is also carrying down the FDW Championship to the ring. We wondered what had happened to the belt after it had gone missing. It looks like we have our answer. And it's also looking like this is the Fiend's final form, if you want to get all Dragon Ball Z and anime with it. As we've seen him beaten down time after time after time, you very much get the impression that FDW is just going to become his playground. Ambushing superstars, champions, hospitalizing people, stealing championships. This is eerie. And it was Bronson Reed that asked for this match. I wonder if Bronson knows what he's gotten himself into. As the Fiend sits on. Awaiting the arrival of another monster. Excuse me. Well, Bronson Reed looking to assert dominance here this season and coming down as the TV champion. Absolutely battered Tyler Breeze when we saw him last in action. And then he was ambushed, but never one to be deterred as Bronson Reed. He'll pick a fight, he doesn't care. I mean, the man's on a good run of form. He's just taken down the longest reigning champion in FDW history. Looking to begin his own dominant reign once again. As we had flashbacks to Season 1 a couple of episodes ago. I'd say he's looking for Kalimar to rip the heart out of Wyatt, but I think his heart was gone a long time ago. This will be huge for Bronson if he can pin the Fiend here. We've seen Bray Wyatt beaten, broken, becoming more and more twisted as the episodes have gone on. But now he's in there with Bronson, who hits a sidewalk slam immediately. Bronson taking absolutely zero prisoners. Feeling good already. This would be a great notch for him if he could do so. It would effectively do us all a favour if he could vanquish Bray Wyatt and effectively perform an exorcism of FDW, as he has been the demon who has haunted us for so long. Running senton, but Bronson sees it coming. Far too experienced for that, as Wyatt hits a Thez press and beats down. Big blows to the head. Again, targeting the head, looking to break the psyche of Bronson Reed. And if he does so, what will that do? Reed now just dismantling Bray Wyatt as he throws him to the outside. Looks to regroup. Never has Bronson Reed fought an opponent like Bray Wyatt. He's taken on brawlers, cruisers, giants, even monsters, but never demons. As Bray Wyatt's insanity meter has just gone absolutely haywire. Flying crossbody there from Wyatt as he levels Bronson Reed. Big DDT. Just all these targets to the head will surely take their toll. Huge suplex from Wyatt. As Wyatt thinks about completing up on Bronson, he stops the assault, and Bronson reversing into a clothesline. Just as FDW was looking good, we had the return of the absolute monster that is Bronson Reed, putting the locker room on notice, but just in a game of one-upsmanship. Wyatt gone to an even darker place, and he rolls through with an inverse DDT, another blow to the head. And any more of that, Bronson Reed is going to be left, dare I say the C word, with concussion. Count of 7 from the ref as back between the ropes we go. Reed with a sidewalk slam onto Bray Wyatt. Bronson throwing Bray Wyatt across the ring and now targeting the arm. Sensible. He may look like a thick white boy with no brains in his head, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what it takes to be a champion and to fight at the absolute highest level for a long time. But does he know what it takes to exercise the demons of FDW? As he hooks him up and hits the Bronslort, crashing down into the back of Wyatt's head, which just appears to be another face. That'll mess you up in a hurry. Count of 2 and Wyatt kicks out. Not very often you see people kicking out of the Bronslort. As Bronson goes to the top rope. Will a tsunami be enough? Is he going to hit a tsunami? No, he hits the elbow drop. Straight to the heart of Wyatt. Just as Bronson Reed looks to go for the heart, he goes flying to the outside, and again Reed, an absolute unit, man mountain, able to fly between the bottom and middle ropes, running DDT, just putting pay to Bray Wyatt. As Reed now also strikes the head of the Fiend. I dare even call him Bray Wyatt anymore, as I don't know how much of Bray is actually left in there. As he just manhandles Bronson Reed to the ground with a mandible claw, and that is vicious. Viciousness on another level. The ref waves it off as Bronson's able to kick out. And Wyatt gets him up. Clubbing forearms into a double choke slam and looks for the pinfall on Bronson Reed. This would be huge for the Fiend. He kicks out. Well, at least we've had one mystery solved here on FDW here this evening. We know where the FDW Championship is. And almost as if the Fiend is taunting Bronson Reed. He knows how much that championship means to Bronson, who comes off the top rope with a tsunami. And that's all she wrote. Bronson Reed able to come up victorious, but at what cost?
Here is your winner, Bronson.
That's a big win there for Bronson Reed. Vanquishing the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Kicking his TV Championship reign off to a fantastic start. We were supposed to determine his #1 contender here this evening. But that question still needs answering as well. Well, it's all happening at the top. We know where the FDW Championship is, but we have no idea where the FDW Champion is. All we know is that it's going to take a lot to get the FDW title off of Bray Wyatt. What's going to happen next, I truly do not know, so stay tuned to FDW Season 2. I'm looking forward to it, and I very much hope you are too. Catch you soon.